Cool. Thank you again, and joining for the session on the training for Azure Virtual Machine Management and Azure Networking. So we're gonna jump into it, and we'll have 3 hours today and 3 hours tomorrow as well. And this is going to be same time, and there is also a certificate of participation at the end of it, which is tomorrow. So make sure you participate today as well as tomorrow. And if there is any queries, trainer will be helping you with it. And if you have doubts, make sure you come back after the today's session for tomorrow so that we can clear out the doubts tomorrow. And I'll be sharing some of the links for the community where you can participate in the upcoming sessions, and make sure you support us so that we can come up with more free training like these in the future. So I'm just gonna drop all the links in chat box. Make sure you check it out, and our YouTube community where you can find our updates. Okay. And that's all from my side, and trainer will be starting the session now.
Hey, thank you, Suraga, for giving a detailed intro here. Before starting the discussion, I request everyone to confirm the audio, and I hope you can able to see my screen as well. Team, can you put a like button on the chat?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, great. Thank you, team. So, thank you, team, for joining this crash course on Microsoft Azure Compute and Microsoft Azure networking here. As Suraj said, we are doing a lot of free webinars and webcasts on a different topics here, especially on the Microsoft products, Microsoft technology like Azure, Azure networking, different certification programs. Then we have been configured and delivered a lot of programs on the availability, security, Azure security, cloud security, and latest trends on Windows servers, Windows Server clustering, 2025. So we request everyone to join this community here. It's because always we do free webinars here. So there is a community link we have been posted on the chat here. So that will help you to get a latest updation as what are the training is coming on every week, so that you can make use of this learning opportunity here. Now, this is a 2 days program here. I know you may be having all of us may be busy with the vacations here and activities, but still we appreciate everyone to join this quick crash course here. So this program, as Surek said, we are focusing on in a two modules here. As you already may be knowing, like Azure has got a 200 plus services here, but we have been picked two important services for your day-to-day operations here. One, it's been Azure Compute, and especially in the compute category, we have a 35 plus services are here, but we are covering Azure VM solutions here, and we'll be discussing about Azure networking part also. How do we make a communication, and how do we make a connectivity to Azure resources here? How do we communicate here? How do we share the data here, or how do we interact each other? All these points will be discussed on in the next 2 days of discussions here. Before joining on to the session or the technical side, let me introduce myself. My name is Robin. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and last almost 2 decades have been working on in Microsoft technologies, and the last a decade has been focusing more on in the multi-cloud platforms here. My basic area it's been like, or my core area has been on into the cloud solution architect and cloud security and other infrastructure solution side here. So that's about my background here. I request everyone to have a small intro from your side, your good name, and you've been connected from which country, and your experience on in Azure. Have you attended any other Azure certifications or a Azure certification programs in the past year? I request everyone to confirm on in the chat here. You can just have a quick intro. So based on that, I can able to give the case studies or a scenarios here. If anyone is been new to this Azure platform, you can make a note on your chat window also. I request everyone to give a small intro from your side. Who is been starting first? I request everyone to just comment it on the chat here. Hari, Abdullah, Abdul Saif. Thank you, Abdul, for starting this here. So Abdul Zahman has been connected from Bangladesh. Okay. So Abdul has been new to this Azure side here. Okay. And we have a sergeant from Nepal. We have a Frederick from Kenya. Thank you, Frederick, Abdul. Sajan. Request others also to just comment it on the chat here. So that will help us to make this all discussion has been more interactive one here. So we have a Renzi has been connected from Philippines. We have a Thilan has been from the Sri Lanka here, and we have a Maharajan from Nepal. Thank you. We have Jerma from Nigeria. Great. So it's been a global presence we have here. So request everyone to just comment it on the chat here. We have a Zakir from Bangladesh. He's been working as a database expert, and we have a Rashid is from Bangladesh. We have Abdul Saeed also is from Abdul Saeed is from India, and Abdul Saeed has got some experience on an Azure side. That's good. We have a Labish is from Nepal, and he's been used on YouTube for uh, doing some kind of a self study here. That's been good. Labish. Rana from the Bangladesh. We have a Reynold from Indonesia. Ayush is from Nepal. We have a Swasta Bazaru from Sri Lanka. We have a Dibish from Nepal. We have Gaurav from Nepal. Uh, Muhammad Rabi from Bangladesh. Anishan from Sri Lanka. Okay, great. And we know this from Sri Lanka. We'll wait another 1 or 2 minutes. Let's have a. I'm just making a note of all these names here. Mark, Phillips, Philippines. Great. Chad is from Philippines here. Great. So we have a good friends from across the globe here, especially from Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Nigeria. Uh, so that's been good. So we have people from connected from across the globe here. So that's been good. I've been connected from India, and my name is Robin, and my career has been on into the Microsoft side here. Anyway, let's have a quick discussion. So this entire 2 days of program, don't expect it's going to be a presentation based one here. This is going to be a more practical oriented way of a discussion here. I'll be using a Microsoft Labs here. I'll be helping you to discuss. I'll try to explain you how practically we can able to enable Azure networking, or how practically you can able to enable Microsoft Azure VM zone in a cloud platform here. And the topic name for the today it's been Microsoft Azure Compute here. So first of all, I will start with a case study or a scenario here. Now, for today, I'm taking it to case studies here. All of us, it's like we have around 100 people is been connected across the globe here, and we got a project, and we are working for a company called a medical research company called Orange. I'm just giving a case study or a scenario here. Now, customer is saying, "Hey, Robin, you have been a Microsoft Cloud trainer, or it's a cloud solution architect here." So they given a scenario to all our team members here. They've been asking like, "Hey, Vinod, Mark, and uh, Jad, why can't we move your current on-premises scenario into a cloud solutions here?" That is a request team we have been received from a medical research company here. Now, medical research company has been thinking like they already have a on-premises data center. They already have a Active Directory, or they got already a DNS or a DHCP, or they got a on-premises or a hyperscale based solution is already available on the premises here. Now, the customer is thinking they want to move to the latest technology, whatever hardware or whatever servers or whatever asset right now they'll be owning. It's not sufficient to manage your new applications here, because of two reasons here. One is been like the customer is thinking, or they already have a case studies or a reviews here, or whatever devices or a infrastructure components they have been using, it's already on in a aged situation. So customer is been thinking, no, I don't want to move to a new hardware here, or I don't want to invest on in the capex part here. I want to move to a cloud side here, so at least I can able to avoid this a capex part here. So that will help you to run my solution in a better way. Always have a flexibility to convert into a cloud-based solution, which will give you a flexibility or elasticity or on demand services here. So that's the first case study we have here. So the solution we are going to provide to a client, they want to migrate or they want to do a lift and shift from a on premises to cloud here. That is the first case. Second one, Customer has got another scenario here. As I said, like a customer has got a on-premises one. Customer has got a branch offices. They got a data room across the globe here. They have office in Kenya. They have office in Nigeria. They have office in Doha. They have office in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, India. Now the customer is thinking like, where do we need to keep all this solution in a scattered way? Why can't we put everything on in a one location rather than sending engineers or a subject matter experts across the globe? Why can't they monitor each and every solution from a single solutions here or a single location here? So the customer has been looking for centralizing this entire solution. Customer has been looking for using a mix of flavors here, because customers want rather than using a Windows servers here, they want to use a mix of versions here. So they want to have a Red Hat Linux based solutions. They want to have a Microsoft OS based solutions here. They want to have a Ubuntu based solutions here. They want to have a SUSE Linux based solutions here. So today we are planning to discuss about how practically we can able to scatter, or how practically you can able to centralize your solutions here, how practically you can able to manage different versions of your operating system here. In case if you want to communicate to different data center or a data room or across the globe, how practically I can able to do here. So these are the two case studies or a scenario we are planning to cover in the next 2 hours of discussions here. I hope you are able to follow me, right? If I hope you are able to follow me, whatever topic currently we are discussing, I hope you are able to follow that case studies here. If yes, I request you to put a like button, please. Rather than using a PPT, I thought like I'll give you a scenario based approach here. I request everyone to put a like button, and you can just put a comment also here. Oh, thank you, Labish. Let's put a comment on the chat. I know everyone is on in a vacation mode. Year end has been the, I know you may be ready for enjoying the vacations here, right? But let's put another 2 hours of our personal time for this learning and new technologies here. Why can't we put a like button on the chat, please? We have only 2 people has been commented. Oh, three. Let's show the team spirit here. Let's put a like button on the chat, team, please. Great. We have a 4. We are waiting for more. Great. Divish, thank you. Great. Super. Now, let me ask the first questions here. Now, these are the topic I thought like we'll cover in the next 2 days here. One, it's been like we'll have a detailed intro, or we'll have a detailed discussion about understanding about Azure Compute here. We'll have a discussion about how Microsoft Azure server is been different from a on-premises solutions here. Because in a on-premises, you may be experienced about installing a server on in a Dell, or you may be installed on in a VMware or a hypervisor, or it's like a Citrix, or you may be used VMware vSphere solutions here. So we'll have a discussion about how practically this has been different, or how technically this has been different from a on-premises versus a cloud platform here. Second, we'll discuss about, in case if you want to install on in a cloud infrastructure, what are the checklist do we need to follow? Because you may be remembering, when you are planning to provision a server, or when you're planning to launch on in a production scenario, always we used to follow a checklist here. It's not that at the time of a provisioning, we are not going to ask the customer what is the C drive space is needed, or what is the kind of the configuration you needed, right? That may be not the right strategy. Normally, we used to follow on in a production scenarios, right? So we'll have a detailed discussion about, in case if Robin or Jad or Thilen has been planning to implement a server or a solution on in a production scenario, what are the checklists we need to follow here? Second one, once you implemented or once you provision your server, what are the minimum VM management tasks you need to do it from your side here? Maybe you may be remembering adding a disk, or adding a network card, or making a network connectivity, or enabling a connectivity, or making some kind of a changes on in your firewall. We'll discuss about a VM host management also. So we'll try to cover all this topic in the next 2 hours here, and tomorrow we'll start discussing about network portions here. In the network portion, I'll be discussing about where do we need a networking. In case if you want to enable a networking, how practically the networking has been enabled here. Do we need to bring any kind of internet networking devices? You may be remembering like in on-premises, we had a hub, switch, router, this kind of internet networking, a device we were using. Do we need to enable any kind of routing protocols? You may be remembering in on-premises, we were using like a OSPF, BGP, RIP kind of protocols here. Do we need to enable any such kind of a protocols here? We'll discuss about a networking portion also. So this is it's a two important topic we are planning to cover in the next 2 days here. Now let's start with the first topic here. That's about Microsoft Azure Compute here. Now, if you remember this current slide here, I'm just sharing one slide on the chat here. You may be remembering when we had a discussion about cloud fundamentals, we, we discussed about how cloud computing is being defined. We learned about NAST has been defined your cloud computing into 4 or 5 categories here based on the scope here, right? You may be remembering based on the scope, based on what kind of the activity you are enabling or you are doing on in a cloud side, what the activity the cloud service provider has been doing on in the cloud side. Based on that, there is a 4 classification is been done. One, it's been like a infrastructure as a service. Then we heard about platform as a service, and we heard about on premises, and we heard about software as a service also here. I can see Mahesh has been commenting on the chat. It's been audible. I can see on in my backup device. There is no audio issues here. In case anyone has been facing an issue, requesting you to rejoin. This may be a Teams issue, so you can rejoin using your browser. It may be a browser issue or a platform issue here. Now, let's go back on into the discussion topic here. You may be remembering when we had a discussion about cloud fundamentals. NAST has been defined your cloud scope into 4 categories here. One, it's been like a software as a service. Then we learned about platform as a service. Then we learned about infrastructure as a service. And the other one, it's about a on-premises one here. Now, the point here, if someone has been discussing about a cloud Azure compute device here, your cloud Azure compute, it's been coming under the category of infrastructure as a service here. I hope you may be remembering what exactly infrastructure as a service, right? So infrastructure as a service means the end user or system administrator is going to get an access from the operating system onwards or from the compute device onwards. That basically it's been knowing as a infrastructure as a service here. I can see there is a question from Mahesh here. Someone has been raised the hand here. I hope you can use your mic here in case if you have a question. You can post it on the chat here. Still can't hear. Sudek, I hope there is no issue from our side, right?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Yeah, even my backup device also. Others also, if you can just comment it on the chat. Look like this individual person has been facing an issue. Mahesh, possible, let me type it on the chat. Let me type it on the chat, Sudak here. Okay, let him join. So we are given a instruction here. It's maybe a browser issue or maybe the application maybe got corrupted. So the discussion right now we are doing here. In case if you want to connect it on an Azure side here, infrastructure as a service, it's been uh, connected with your Azure compute here. because if you take Azure Compute here, it's been coming under the category of a infrastructure as a service here. Now, if you take a Microsoft Azure Compute here, you may be remembering compute is a component which normally it's been deal with a RAM, CPU, or a disk, or any infrastructure services. It's been normally coming under the category of a Azure Compute here. Now, if you take a Microsoft Azure Compute has been supporting almost 30 to 35 services here. Now, if you go back to your Microsoft Azure portal, you can remember Microsoft has been supporting almost 30 to 35 plus services here on in Azure Compute category. Right now, you can see I have connected on into a Microsoft solutions here. Let me connect it here. Let me connect it here. I can see a couple of services here. Let me delete this first here, okay? Otherwise, you may get confused here. Let me delete these things. Otherwise, you may get confused. Let me delete this. We are going to start from a scratch here. So better I'll delete this and help you to understand this topic in a easy way here. Let me delete these things. Give me a moment, okay? This I just installed for testing something. So I have deleted, but look like it's not decommissioned properly. So let me reinitiate that one here. Let's wait for a 2 minutes. We're just decommissioning this. Right now we are decommissioning existing resources which has been available on in our lab. We are trying to understand about Azure Compute here. What exactly this Azure Compute, how practically you can able to configure or how practically you can able to enable it here. Let's wait for a minute here. Let's wait for a minute. Decommission currently. It's in progress here. You can see this has been progressing here. Almost decommission. It's in progress stage here. We're just waiting for this to complete this. You can see this finance resource group. It's got decommission. Waiting for the other two also to be decommissioned here. Then we'll go for the discussions here. Let's wait for another few more minutes. Now, if you go back on into the all resources tab here, you may be able to see like all services tab, not all the resources here. Right now, we have connected on into the Microsoft portal. On the Microsoft portal, you may be able to see here, you have a all resources option you are getting. Similar way, you can able to see like there is a solution available on in the portal. It's called all services here. Now, if you take or if you click on the all services button here, you can see Microsoft has been showing or it's been giving a solution about almost a 200 plus products here. See, these all Microsoft products. Very beautifully, Microsoft has been organized in a different category here. See, you can see like analytics, compute, then you have a container, and you have a database, and you have a integrity product, or you have a integration products, you have a IoT or a networking, right? You may be able to see almost 200 plus products Microsoft has been supporting here. Now, compute is a one category inside that, right? Now, if you take Azure Compute here, Azure Compute, it be a service which normally it's been it deals or it's been handled a infrastructure related components here. If you click on the compute category here, on the right side, you may be able to see almost a 30 plus different Azure Compute solutions are present here. Now, from where I got this option, I have connected onto the portal. I have been selected a option called all services here. The moment when you click on the all services here, you may be able to see like almost 30 plus compute related components are available here. This include virtual machine, this include auto scaling feature, this include availability feature, this include app service, this include spring service, this include SAP solution, this include AK service. So almost 30 to 35 compute related components are available here. Now, similar way, if you take database also, you can see there are different database components or a different database applications are supported here, which include SQL, which include Oracle database, which include R components, which include Cosmo DB. And if you go to the networking category, you may be able to see network related components are supported here. We can be IP address, which can be private IP address, or it can be public IP address, or it can be DNS component, or it can be network address translation components, or it can be VPN components here. So in a net or in a nutshell, all services is been it's a place where you can able to see all the Microsoft native products or services are being listed here. And very beautifully, Microsoft is been organized in a compute category or a network category or a database category or an integration category or a DevOps category or a security categories here. Now, based on the customer requirement, they can able to go and select each service and they can able to provision, or in case if already it's been created, you have an option for enable governance, you have an option for enable monitoring, or you have an option for enable the configuration, or even you can able to decommission also here. Now, you may be thinking all these products are Microsoft related products. Do we have an option for integrating third party products here? Yes, we have a such solution also available on in Microsoft Cloud here. You can able to go to a place called Marketplace here. You can just go to the middle of the screen. In the middle of the screen, you will be able to see there is an option called Marketplace here. If you select the option called Marketplace, you can see Microsoft has been supporting almost 8,000 plus products here, which include Microsoft products, native products, which include third-party products, which includes non-Microsoft products also here. For example, like someone want to install a third-party Microsoft product, for example, like firewall here, they can able to go to the search bar and they can just enter the firewall products here. This will be listing all the products here. See, you have a resources being like you have a solutions here, right? You can able to see like a firewall, you have a Sophos or a Windows or a FortiGate, or you can able to see like different products. It's been supported. You see, you have a option is been available. You have a solution is been available here, right? Third party products here. So Microsoft has been supporting almost 8,000 plus application or services also here. As on today, 8,000 plus solution has been available here. With the help of that, you can able to integrate with the Microsoft solutions here. Anyway, our topic is not about using a marketplace here. Our topic is more about how do we install a server on in a Microsoft side here. So the point here, if you take all services here, you can able to see there is a compute category here, and in a compute category almost 30 to 35 solutions are supported here. So all these service are normally deals with infrastructure components here. It can be a server related one, it can be disk related, or it can be CPU related, it can be network related here. So all these components, it's got some kind of integration with the infrastructure components here. Now today's topic, from Azure Compute Solution, we are planning to create a first service or a basic service called Azure Virtual Machines. What is the component we are planning to discuss? We are planning to discuss about a virtual machine here. Now, you may be remembering this chart on in your on-premises scenario here, right? You may be remembering, in case if someone want to install a solutions here in a on-premises scenario, how practically the installation is been done. You may be remembering, in case if someone want to install a server on an on-premises scenario, you may be taking a physical box, right? It can be Dell, right? Let me ask everyone here, Sajan, or it's like others here, how normally we used to install a operating system on in a on-premises scenario? Can you comment it on the chat? I'm in a customer place. I want to install Linux or I want to install a Windows server. How practically this is be installed on in a on-premises side? Can you comment it on the chat? What is your experience? Or in case if you want to install a Windows 10 or a Windows 11 on in your laptop, how normally we were installed on in a laptop here? Can you comment it on the chat? Request everyone to comment it on the chat. In case if I want to install a server on in on-premises one, how practically this be installed? Can you comment it on the chat? It's a time-taking process. Great. Sajan, technical side, you may be using a CD. Where exactly this will be installed? Can you comment it on the chat? Waiting a response from everyone. In case if I want to install SSD disk, okay, you are going to install on in a SSD disk, okay. Others, request everyone to contribute on this exercise, please. In case if I want to install a server on an on-premises one, how practically this has been installed here. I can see there are two comments on the chat here. Possible, like if you take your on-premises experience here, you may be use two options here, right? One option you may be remembering, you may be using a physical server here, right? You can able to see like you can see use a physical server here, right? You have a option is been available, and with the help of that on-premises scenario, you can able to install. For example, like imagine this your Dell or HP or a any physical vendor side server here, right? You may be taking a physical box. On top of that, you will install your operating system. I hope you will agree this one, right? In case someone want to install, you will install a server operating system on top of a physical box. Will you agree for the statement? If yes, can you put a like button? I'm just explaining you how practically this has been done on in a on-premises scenario. I was saying in an on-premises scenario, Muhammad or Libish or Rivi or Thilan may be taking a physical box. This may be taken from a Dell or a HP or a PowerEdge or a Cisco UCS. You may be installed here. Or if you take your laptop scenario, in case if someone want to install, you may be taking a laptop, right? For example, like if you want to install a operating system on in your laptop, you may be remembering, you maybe opened your laptop, you will connect CD drive or a DVD drive or a flash drive. With the help of that, you are installing Windows 10 or a Windows 11 or Ubuntu or a SUSE Linux or a Unix flavors, right? Technically, the operating system, it's installed on top of this hardware, especially on a laptop side. Now, if you take a server side, you may be taking a physical box. On a physical box, you are installing a server operating system. On top of that, your application. On top of that, your data is been configured here. So this is the one approach we were following on in a on-premises scenario. Second approach, you may be remembering, you are installing a hyperscaler or a virtualization technology. Because if you take the first scenario, in case if you need 100 servers, you may have to purchase 100 physical boxes. That may lead to some kind of a capex, or that may lead to some kind of additional cost or additional investment to be done on in a on-premises scenario, right? That's the reason organizations are started using a concept called virtualization. Have you heard about a word called virtualization? I think yes. You have a hypervisor kind of a concept we are using here, right? You may be remembering. It's a hypervisor kind of a solutions or hypervisor kind of a products we can able to use it here, right? Now you may be able to see like you have a solution has been available on in a on-premises scenario. There are different type components or installation you can able to do. That's called type 1, or you can able to install type 2 hypervisor also. You can see on in the market there are different type of products or vendors are available here. You maybe heard about VMware, you maybe heard about Microsoft Hyper-V, KVM. There are many Citrix. There are many vendors are available here, right? All these vendors will give you a solution for virtualization here. What exactly the virtualization is doing? Whatever hardware right now it's been available here, it's been virtualizing the hardware components here. It's not physically, it's not breaking here. Instead of that, this will install this hypervisor products. On top of that, you are installing your operating system. So whatever hardware components are available, it's trying to use maximum utilization of that components here, right? With the help of a hypervisor products here. So the point here, if you take your on-premises scenario, you are using a two mode of operations here. One mode, you are installing on in a on-premises physical box. Second method, you are using on top of your a, a component called a hypervisor. On top of that, you may be using a component, or it's like a hypervisor products are using. With the help of that, you are using here. Now, the question is coming, in case if I'm using on in a cloud scenario, where exactly your server has been hosted here. Now, if you take your on-premises scenario, in case if you are using your on-premises products, or in case if you're using your hyperscaler products here, all these assets or all these products, it's been hosted on in your on-premises scenario. That means you are investing on the capex side, you are holding a complete control over your assets here. Make sense? The point here, if you're using an on-premises, or if you're using a existing or a legacy model, you are getting a complete control over your assets here. So this been available on in your data room, or this may be available on in your data center here. Now the question is coming, in case if Robin is been implementing a server on in a cloud scenario, where exactly the server is been hosted? Is it owned by the Microsoft, or is it owned by your organization here? That's the discussion. Right now, it's been planning to discuss on in the next couple of minutes here. Now, in a legacy scenario, it's been available on in the on-premises here, right? I'll pause it here for taking a question. So far, any questions from anyone? Are we good? If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? We are good. We are good to go to the next part. Request everyone to comment it here. So that will give you a confidence to me also you are with me. Request everyone to comment it on the chat. Whoever has been commenting more, they will be getting a prize, okay? So let's see who has been commenting more, right? So whoever has been, it's most actively it's been participating here. We are just making note of that also. Okay. We want to ensure that you're not sleeping during the session. Great. Super. Now, possible, I'll try to give you a question here. Let me give you a question. Let me put a one question on the chat. Just give me a second, okay? So let me post one question on the chat. Is related to the hypervisor here. Can you try to answer this question, please? I request everyone to read this question. What is exactly this hypervisor? What is your understanding? Can you type it on the chat? I request everyone to comment it on the chat. So answer for this question, it's answer B. Answer B stands for a platform that hosts a physical machines here. That's called a hypervisor here. So thank you, team. So most of the members has been participated in this one here. Thank you for that. Now, what is an hypervisor? Let me give you a small lecture note also. Possible this will help you to understand in a better way here. So hypervisor is nothing. It's a software or it's a platform which help you to virtualize your hardware here. Now, let me give you some examples also. Let me type it on the chat. So these are the few type 1 products here. These are the few type 1 hypervisors. These are the few type 2 hypervisors here. You can just take a one note or take a Word file and update this notes here. Possible this will help you to some confidence here that we can able to just refer it in the later stage. Great. So that's about the on-premises idea. That's about how practically it's been configured on in a on-premises idea. Now, next topic we are going to discuss about how practically a server you can able to install on in a cloud side here. It's almost an hour now. We'll take a 3 minutes quick break and we'll be back. So then we'll discuss about Azure VM. The next topic we are planning to cover, it's about Azure VM here. I'll be giving a quick 3 minutes break because it's almost an hour here. So I want everyone to concentrate here. So let's take a 3 minutes break and be back. Thank you. I hope everyone is back. So, request everyone to just put a like button. I hope you are back. I can see a few like buttons. Thank you, team. Great. So, we were trying to discuss about what exactly this virtual machines here. From our experience with respect to the on-premises one, in case if you are using a server on in a on-premises or a legacy model, you can install on top of physical box directly. That's the first approach. Second approach we were taking, you can install on top of a hypervisor. That is the second approach we are taking here. So if you are installing a VM or if you're installing a server on in a hypervisor, that technically it's been known as a virtual machines here. So any server which is installed on in a hypervisor on in a on-premises scenario, that basically it's been known as a virtual machine here. Now, what is the advantage on in a Azure side here? Azure also is using similar kind of approach here. If you are installing a server operating system on in a cloud solutions here, it's been installed on top of a hypervisor here. But only the difference here, you may be remembering on in a previous scenario, if someone has been using a hyperscaler or someone has been using a virtualization software or a hypervisor, that hypervisor it's been installed on the on-premises location, right? You may be able to see here if you are using a hypervisor, that hypervisor and the physical box both are available on in a physical location. That physical location it's been owned by you. Now, when it is coming on in a cloud scenario, we are using a different approach here. Microsoft is got a data center across the globe here. So Microsoft got data center almost 60 plus regions they have. Microsoft got location around 300 plus location. Microsoft is got data center available across the regions here, and all these regions, all this location, it's technically it's been knowing with the help of a term called Microsoft regions here. The technical term we are using on in Azure side, it's called Microsoft Azure regions here. So what exactly this Microsoft Azure region? Microsoft Azure region, it's nothing. It's a physical data center or data room. It's been owned by the Microsoft, where you can able to see Microsoft has been hosting all the services here, right? Microsoft got regions in a different geographies here. You can see East US location, Central US, or a North Central, or a Canada Central, North Europe, UK South, UK West, Germany, Switzerland, Japan West, Korea Central, India West, UAE North, Brazil South. So they got a data center across the globe here. In case if you want to see this data center details here, you can visit Microsoft website here. You can just type Azure regions. You can see the global presence here. See, if you select this service details here, see, you can see all the geography details here. Let me type it on the chat here. I just pasted the link here. See, these all are locations of Microsoft here. See, this all Microsoft geographical locations. You can just see here. You have a solution has been available here. See, there's a geography has been available here. You can just go to the location details here. Now, in case if you want to see this data center details here, see, this Microsoft has been giving you the map here. See, you have a solution here. You have a Microsoft data center details. You can see it here. See, it's been loading here now. Let's hold for a minute. You can see this been. You have a all the data center location has been available here. See, See all this location. See all these locations here. All this location, it's been available here. All this. So now if you click here, see these are the locations here. Now, in case if you want to do a region filtering, you can able to do here. See, you have all the details has been available here. See, in case if you want to see only the geography here, you can type it here. See, now all the geography, if you want to type it here, all the details, it's been able to get it from here. So region is something, it's a Microsoft physical location or a data center where you can able to configure a server or a assets here, which will provide you with the availability here. So that's about the Microsoft regions here. Now, the point here, in case if someone has been installed a server or a solution on in a Microsoft side here, that solution will be hosted or that solution will be on or that solution will be hosted or it's been provisioned inside Microsoft data center here. For example, Microsoft is got a data center across the globe. So each location they will be having a server farms or a assets, network assets, firewall assets. And now if you take a VM scenario here, in each data center or a data room, they will have a n number of asset will be available. You see, n number of asset will be available. Each server will be installed with a hypervisor. You see, each server which has been available on in a Microsoft data center, it will be installed with a hypervisor. You see, it will be installed with a hypervisor. You see, now if you take hypervisor here, all these servers, it's not available on in a location. This will be available on the Microsoft data center here. For example, you may be sitting in your home or in your office. This server may be available on in a remote location here. Possible I can able to show you it's with the help of a scenario here. For example, let me connect on into Microsoft portal here. Now, Mohammed Rabi has been requested for me to install a SQL server. You can see here. If I'm installing on in a Microsoft portal, don't worry about these options, okay? I'll discuss in a later stage. Let me give you a name here. See, while installing, you can give your server names here. You may be able to see there is a options here. It's called regions here. See, it's called regions here. Now, the moment when you select this option, you are getting a flexibility to select different data center here. Now, who exactly owning this data center? Is it by you or your company, or is it being owned by the Microsoft? What do you think? Can you comment it on the chat? Is it owned by you or your company, or is it a client, or is it being owned by the Microsoft? What do you think? Can you comment it on the chat? From your observation, who exactly own this data center here? I can see there are three comments are coming on the chat here. I request everyone to comment. What do you think? In case if I are moving on into a cloud here, is it owned by Microsoft or is it owned by the a different vendor here? Yes, I'll agree with all your statement here. It's been owned by the Microsoft here. That's been good observation here. Now, what exactly is the meaning of this? It's giving, or Microsoft is giving a flexibility for us to select a server or a data center close to my end user here, right? If my old users are from Nepal, there is no point of keeping my server on in a Australia, or there is no point of keeping my server on in a other locations here. Or think I have a user, it's from a US location. There is no point of keeping my server in India, because you maybe heard about a issue called latency issue, right? Because always we prefer to configure your server, or always we prefer to configure your application close to the end user, because that will give you a feeling, or that will give you a solution, or that will avoid a latency kind of issues, or that will give you a better performance to your applications here. So the point here, at the time of the creation, the end user, it's getting a flexibility where exactly you can install your solutions here. How practically this will be installed? This practically it's been selected with the help of a options here. That option name, it's been knowing as a regions here. So with the help of a region, the end user, it's been able to select a closed data center or a data room here. Now, for example here, Muhammad has been requested for me to install a server, and he needed for a over here. Let's go and see how practically this has been installed here. No need to worry about this option. We'll go one by one here. Let me select it here. I'm just selecting a server, providing you or providing or entering few details here. I'm just entering all the details on the portal. I'm just review and configure it here. Let's wait for a minute here. We are trying to install a server using a Azure portal here. Let's wait. Install it here. I'm just installed here. You can see here you have a deployment. Currently it's in progress here. We're just trying to complete this one solutions here. Let's wait for a minute. Currently the deployment, you may be able to see, or it's been got completed here. Now, if you select this virtual machine CSC, Mohammed and Robin has been created a server, and team, are you able to identify which data center or which location this has been installed? Are you able to identify here? Can you comment it on the chat in case if you are able to identify which data center this server has been got installed here? Team, can you able to identify? I request everyone to comment it. That will give you a confidence to you. Are you able to identify which location or which data center it's been hosted? Yes, it's been hosted on in a East to West location. Now I have a second question. Is it owned by you or is it owned by Microsoft here? Now the server has been available. Is it owned in our own data center in East to West, or is it installed on in a Microsoft data center? What do you think? We can see only 3 answers on the chat. Others, please comment it on the chat. Is it owned by Microsoft data center, or is it owned by Anushan, or is it owned by Lawrence or Suman or Idea? Who exactly it's been owned? It's been owned by the Microsoft data center here, right? That's been very good observation here. So possible if you go back on into your on-premise, sorry, or go back to your whiteboard here. I'll put it this way here. You may be sitting in Sri Lanka or India or Nepal or Kenya using a internet connection or using a VPN connection. You have connected to Microsoft portal. Using this, you are getting flexibility to connect to the different data centers of a Microsoft here, and all your resources, whatever application you're installing, whether it's a SQL or whether it's a Oracle or whether it's in a MS Office or any other product, technically this has been owned by the Microsoft data center. You are sitting your own place or your office using a internet or using a VPN connectivity. You are be connecting to the Microsoft data center here. Will you agree with this statement, or are you confident with this statement here? Can you comment it on the chat? Because you may be remembering on in a on-premises scenario, your India server, Indian infrastructure, it's been available in your own data center only, right? You are getting a complete access. You're getting a complete control. You can able to go and validate this. Right now, the server it's been available on in a east to west location. You are sitting in India or in Nepal or any other country where your been belongs to, right? Great. So that's the point here. So the point here, the moment when you start working on in an on-premises scenario, your Indian infrastructure available on your own premises, but when it is coming on in a cloud scenario, this it's been available on in the Microsoft data center here. Now, definitely you may be having a question in case if it's been available on in a East US location or Switzerland or other location, are we going to get an on-site opportunity? No, everything can be managed, everything can be controlled, everything can be monitored, everything can be enabled with a governance through a remote connections. It can be through VPN or it can be through the internet connection. You anyway, you are not going to get a access on into the Microsoft data center, right? Only the Microsoft employee or only the delegated employee only can able to enter into the Microsoft data center here because of a security reasons here. So technically, your entire solution will be managed, or technically all your solution will be hosted inside a Microsoft data center remotely. As a end user or a system administrator, you are going to manage it here. Make sense, Tim? I hope you are good with this, right? So silence I'm taking yes, and we are good to go to the next discussion here. Great. Now, when you go on into the installation part, or when you go for the configuration part here, let me take you on to the presentation here once again. So these are the few discussion so far we had here. The point where whenever you go for a virtual machine configuration here, the installation or a configuration, it's completely owned by the Microsoft, and any server if you configure it on in a Microsoft side, it's basically knowing as a Azure virtual machine, the shortest name, or the solution we are using here. You can see it's basically it's been knowing as a word called virtual machine here. So the technical word we are using called VM here, and VM it's basically a ISAS component here, and it's technically it's been managed or technically it's been hosted on in a Microsoft data center here. So this is the point so far we have been learned here. So the moment when you install it here, technically this will be installed on in your other side here, right? It's basically it's been on in a other side, or it's been like configured on in a Microsoft data center. With the help of that, you can able to manage here. So that's the point so far we have been discussed. Right now, whatever screen or the image you're seeing here, this about the existing, or it's been like it's basically the current or the legacy model of installation here. Now, if you take a legacy model, you may be able to see in the installation, the virtual machine you are installing on top of a physical box. With the help of that, you are managing here, right? So similar way, when it is coming on in a cloud side here, you don't have any physical server concept available on in on premises here. even though if you are using on in a other side means if you are using on in a uh, cloud side, the physical asset will be available or it's been hosted or owned by the Microsoft data center. You are not going to manage any physical server here. Your access it's been started from a on-premises here. You can able to see on the other side here. See, if you are able to on the other side, you can able to see like you have a resources been available, and with the help of that you can able to manage, and the solution and available on in a on-premises scenario. It was on in a physical server, but on in a cloud side, it's been available on in a Microsoft data center, but the physical server is been owned by the Microsoft here. I hope that point it's been clear to everyone here. Now, moving on into the other side here. In case if you are using a cloud or a Microsoft Azure server here, you are going to get a couple of benefits here. Because if you use a Microsoft Azure VM, you are not going to purchase any servers here. You're not investing anything on in a capex part here. Whenever you need, you will install the server, and whenever you don't need, you will decommission the server also. See here, right now we have a server is been available here. Now Muhammad is saying, Ravi or Robin, I don't need this server here. What exactly you can do? You can just go to the portal here, and I can able to decommission the server also. Very easy. See, in case if Muhammad thinking like, no, I don't need this server because the project saying they don't want this server, it's been very easy for them to decommission also. See, on the portal, if anyone can just go there and you can able to decommission here. What is the advantage of the decommission here? The moment when you decommission here, it's basically you are going to pay the money only for the consumption here. It's not going to pay for the entire amount, because if you remember on in an on-premises scenario, if you purchase a server, you are going to pay the money for the entire assets here, right? Now, on in a cloud scenario, it's basically you are paying only for what exactly you have been used here. For example, like if you use the 5 minutes, you are going to pay only for the 5 minutes here, not more than that here. So whenever you go for a solutions here, the moment when you configure on in a solutions here, the moment when you configure it here, you are going to pay only for what exactly you've been used here. This for the servers or this is for the VM. Only for the amount you have been used, you are going to pay the money to that. So that is an important point you need to remember here. So it depends upon what exactly you have been used. You are going to pay the money only for that year. That's an important point. You can able to configure it on the port here, right? Is that point it's been clear? So technically, it's going to be paid only for what exactly to be used on into other side here. So that is an important point we need to remember here. Okay, that's about the understanding about the VM here. So if you use on into the server, it's giving a flexibility for me to install, and it's giving a flexibility to decommission also here. Now, if you go back on into the installation part here, we understood if you're using a VM, you are not investing on the VM cost here. Technically, you are not buying any servers here, right? So technically, you're not buying any server. You are taking a rent from the Microsoft here, and based on the consumption, you are paying the money to the Microsoft here. So technically, you're not purchasing. Instead of that, you are renting a server or you're renting a service from the Microsoft. Based on the consumption, you are paying to the the vendor here. So it's basically you are going to pay only for what exactly you have been used, only the cost you're paying to the vendor here. And whenever you don't need, you have an option for terminate, or you have an option for configuration here. So that's about the configuration part here. So you have a option is been available. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. Now, definitely you may be having a question. In case if you want to install a option or an operating system, is it going to be supported only the Microsoft operating system? No, it's been supporting non-Microsoft operating system also. Because I've seen like many times people have a perception, if I'm using a Microsoft Azure is a product from a Microsoft solutions here. You are going to get a solutions from other products also here. For example, like you have a solution has been available here where you can able to see like Unix. If someone is thinking like I want to go for a Unix here, you can able to solution is been available. You see, you have a option has been available like see Unix operating system. You can see here you have a Microsoft solutions are available here. Like for example, like if you want to install a Linux here, see even you can able to install Linux operating system also here. See you have an option has been available here, right? Is that point has been clear? Now, if you are planning for a non-operating system, you are getting a flexibility to use non-Microsoft operating system also on in the portal here. Now I can see there is a question from a question on in the chat here. What are the advantage you are going to get it from in a Microsoft here compared to the other vendors here? From my experience, one is about a global reach or a number of the data center facility here, because Microsoft is got a data center almost 60 plus region here. That's the worldwide presence they have, and they are getting a they're providing a flexibility to choose close to the end users here. In case if you have any kind of a data sovereignty or any kind of laws or any kind of a complaints issues you have a flexibility to use on in the local or in a close to the regions here. So the one advantage I have seen on in my experience, you are going to get a lot of facility on in the configuration part. You can able to closely configure any region close to the end user. So basically, Microsoft has got a massive network data center across the globe here, and it's providing a flexibility to provide integrations here. In case if you want to integrate with the Windows Server, or in case if you are going to integrate with a Microsoft on-premises Active Directory using a hybrid connectivity, that means using AD Connect software or a solution, you can able to integrate with your existing Microsoft ecosystem also here. So that may be the best advantage I've seen on in a Microsoft side here. In case if you want to integrate with your Office 365, or in case if you want to configure with your Exchange server, or in case if you want to make use of your local DNS server or any existing legacy Microsoft ecosystem, if you have, you can able to use that Frederick here. So that's maybe the one advantage you can able to take it in a first two or three categories here. When it's about uh, massive data center across the globe, that's giving you flexibility, Frederick, you to install close to the end user. That will avoid the latency. That will give you a better performance. And you can see the next one. It's about it can be integrated with your existing solutions also here. Is that point is been clear? Great. Any other questions from anyone? Great. So that's about the solution part here. Great. Frederick, I think I have a few notes for you. Last time I've been prepared in case if you want to use it here. This may be the one note you can use it here. This it's been available handy with me on in a uh, note here. Frederick, you can just make a note of this. This may be the one helpful for you. This is a few advantage which you're going to get it here. Great. So that's about the operating system side. That's about the flavor side, or that's about the advantages compared to the other provider here. So the point we were discussing about what are the benefit you're going to get it here. So we understood like you don't need to buy the server here. We understood like you are going to pay only for what exactly you are using here. So this is the point we have been discussed here. Now, how do we install a server here? That's maybe the second point. Whenever you go for installing a server on an on-premises one, you may be remembering we used to have a connect or a call or a discussion with a client here or an application team. We'll try to understand about. Now, you may be remembering, in case if you want to implement a on-premises server, we are in a customer place. Customer said, Robin, you go and install a Windows server here. So are we going to install as it is, or are you going to have a discussion with the application owner or a server owner? What will be the first strategy you're going to do? Definitely, you will have a discussion with a server owner or a application owner. We'll try to understand about what exactly the customer has been looking, right? What is the kind of the configuration the customer has been looking? What is the kind of application the customer has been going to use on this server here, right? Because if you go for any kind of installation, initially you'll have a discussion with the application team. You will try to understand about what kind of application it's going to be installed here. That's been the first one. Now you will be trying to understand number of the users it's been used here, right? Now, what is the additional information you're going to have a discussion with a client here? Can you comment it on the chat? Imagine you are a person going to install or a solution here. And what are the questions you're going to ask the client here? What are the kind of the information you're going to collect it from the client here? You may be asking about what is the kind of the configuration the customer has been looking, right? You will try to understand about RAM capacity the customer has been looking, a CPU capacity the customer has been looking here. You will try to understand about what is the disk capacity is been needed, what is the capacity is been needed for C drive, how many drives you need for data, how many drives you need for log and backup, right? What else you're trying to use? You're trying to understand it here from the customer. What else? It's about the configuration side here. One is about, we'll try to understand about a cost side here. What else? Yes, definitely we'll try to understand about Frederick the budget also, right? We need to understand about budget also here. What is the budget customer has been having? I'm talking about in a on-premises scenario. Okay, I'm not talking about in a cloud scenario. In a on-premises scenario, cloud will discuss. OS about, yes, definitely we need to understand about what is the kind of the OS the customer has been looking here. Okay, that's been good point. What else? Addition to the OS, definitely we need to have a details about the backup plans here, right? We need to have a details about availability plan, right? Is it any clustering has been needed, or how the availability has been configured here, right? So these are the questions normally we used to ask the customer on in a on-premises scenario, right? You can able to see like you have a availability here. So definitely you may be enabled or you may be able to lose a availability options or a configuration on in a on-premises. With the help of that, we used to enable on in a on-premises scenario. Now the question is coming. Right now we are migrating on into a cloud scenario here. How the installation has been happening? What are the options we have here? Now, if anyone want to install a server on in Microsoft Azure, you may be using three methods here. One method, you will be doing a lift and shift migration from on premises to cloud. You will be doing a lift and shift migration. Second option, you will do a fresh installation. Third option, you will do a migration. That means a restore, like you will restore from a backup into a cloud here. So these are the few method of the installation normally we are doing on in a solutions here, right? You can able to see like you have a solution is been available where you can able to uh, available on solution here, right? You can able to see like you have a solution is been available on in a Microsoft side, and on premises you are asking a lot of question. Similar way on in a cloud side, before making any kind of installation, you need to make a checklist also. Right now you can see on in the screen, I'm giving you a top solutions here. You can see here. You can able to see like how many resources are available here. You can able to see like how many resources are available here. What are the solutions you are able to see here? You can see there is a VNet. There is a solution is been available. You can able to see like you have a you can able to see like there is a network interface card is been available. You can able to see there is a managed disk is been available. You can able to see there is a DNSCC involved. So right now, if you see this IAD diagram, a single VM is been associated, or a single VM is been have a configuration or a connection with the many dependent components here. See, because if you take a on-premises scenario, you have only the dependency with the disk here, right? Now, if you see this a single computer or a single server here, you can able to get some idea or a confidence. The moment when you install a VM, along with your VM, there are a lot of dependent components also it's been got created here. It include disk, it include CPU, it include RAM, it include data disk, it include diagnostic logs, it include storage account, it include networking components, it include public IP address, private IP address, resource group, subscription, DNS, Active Directory. So there are many components is been involved here. It's not a single component. Now you can imagine you are managing 10,000 such VMs here. Right now, if you're seeing only a single VM, you may be seeing like many components here. Now, imagine a situation, you are part of a project where you're managing 10,000 VMs. Now you got the sensitivity of your role you are going to play in your project, right? See, in a single VM, you have all these components. Now imagine a situation you've been managing 10,000 VM. How many such components will be there? Now you got the sensitivity or the criticality or the complexity of the role you're going to play in your project, right? I hope you're getting the point here, right? Can you comment it on the chat? How sensitive your role is in your real time or in a project scenario? Can you comment it on the chat? I hope you got the complexity of your role, right? Can you comment it on the chat? Or how many projects already here? Is that point is been clear? Very important role, right? I can see only one here. I can see only one person, 2% only it's been configured here, right? Great, great, super. Now, at least you got an idea. There are many components is been involved here. So my point here, whenever you go for installation of any VMs here, better to make a checklist here. See, make a checklist here. See, whenever you go for making a configurations here, always try to make a checklist here. What are the checklists you are going to make on in a real-time scenario? You need to make a pre-planning checklist here, which include what is the purpose of your VM, which region you're going to install it here, what is the configuration you want, what is the type of the operating system you want, what is the size of the VM you want, how the subscription or billing is been needed here. You need to have an idea about how the installation to be configured here. So whenever you go for any kind of installation here, better to make a pre-planning checklist here, because once you started the installation, you cannot go and ask the customer, hey customer, please provide me these details here, right? Because if you take any organization, all the organizations are working in a ITL based framework here, right? Labish, I think. Labish, what is the point you're talking about? Can you comment it? I hope you can able to use the mic also, right? Or can you just comment it on the chat? Yes, exactly right. You're right, Lavish. In case if you're not planned properly, it's not going to be. In case if you're planning properly, it's not going to be complex. In case if you're just simply installing, then it's be a problem for you, right? It's going to be a nightmare. Right? I agree with your statement, Lavish here. You're well said. So we need to have a proper planning. So we need to have a proper checklist to be followed here. Now let's go and see a simple VM installation. And then we'll discuss about a more detail about a VM configurations here. Now, Libesh want to install a database server here. Let's go and see how practically this can be configured on in a Azure side here. Now, in case if someone want to install a server on an Azure side, you can use multiple methods. One method, if you're good in a graphical user interface mode, you can use portal.azure.com. This can be the one method. Second method, let me delete this one. 1 second, okay? 1 second. Let me delete these things. Okay, great. Now, one method, in case if you want to install a server here, you may be able to configure here. You have a resources been available here, right? You can able to available on in the portal, right? You have a virtual machine has been available. You can use a virtual machine. See, one option you can use a graphical user interface. This is the first method. Or second method, if you're good in a automation mode, or if you're good in a scripting, you can use PowerShell also for the installation here. So I'm discussing about, in case if you want to install a Azure VM, what are the different methods are available here. One method you can use a graphical user interface. Second method, you can use Windows PowerShell. Using a PowerShell also you can able to go and install VM. Third option, if you're good in a command base, you can open Azure command prompt here. That basically it's been knowing as a Azure CLI. What is the word you're using? It's called Azure CLI. So by default, Microsoft Azure command prompt or the normal command prompt, it's not supported any of these commands here. So what exactly you want to do? You need to visit Microsoft CLI page here. You can able to go to Google or Microsoft page, type Azure CLI. This will be taking to learn.microsoft.com page here. From here, you need to download a MSI package here. See, you can see there is a MSI package is available. With the help of that, you can able to install it here. Is that point is been clear? So my point here, you can use a different method here for the installations here. It depends upon which tool you are comfortable. You can use that one here. One method it's been like a PowerShell. Second one it's like a, you can use a option of using a CLI method, a GUI method, or you can able to use a bash mod also. See here on the top you can see there is a cloud shell option is been available. See, if you log in onto the portal, on the right side of your copilot, you can see there is a pen and book symbol you can see here. If you are selecting here, you can see there is an option is been available where you can able to configure PowerShell. You can able to see like you have an option is been available. So you can see here, you have a PowerShell and you have a Cloud Shell options are available here. If you're coming from a Linux or a Unix background here, you can enable or you can able to manage your solution with the help of a command prompt also. See, you have option is been available. With the help of this option, you can able to configure it here. See, you have an option is been available. With the help of that, you can able to manage here. See, you have a solution available where you can able to manage or where you can able to configure it here. See, so or you have an option called Azure Mobile also. In case if you are managing a solution with the help of a mobile, you can able to make use of your mobile options also here. You have an option available where you can able to manage with the help of a mobile also here. So you have an option it's been available. You have an option has been available with the help of that we can able to configure it. Yes, see, you have an option has been available where you can able to use Azure mobile option also here. So at any point of time, if you want to install any server on in a Microsoft Azure side, you can use any of these management tools here. It can be GUI or it can be PowerShell. It can be CLI. Putty, it's a tool which you can able to use for connecting here, Anisha. And with the help of that, you can able to connect it here. So with the help of that, you can able to manage here. Now, next we'll go for a installation of a Azure VM with the help of a GUI based mode here. Possibly we'll take a small break. Then we'll go for a installation here. We'll take a 7 minutes. Then we'll go for a installation here. It's almost a 2 hour now. Let's take a quick coffee break, and I hope 7 minutes will be sufficient. 7 minutes has been okay, or do you need 10 minutes? Can you comment it on the chat? Let's take a 10 minutes, and let's take a 10 minutes tea break and back. Then we'll discuss about installations here. Thank you. Hey team, I hope you're back. Request you to confirm through the chat option or the like button so we can start the installation part here. Thank you, Rahman, for confirming. Awaiting the response from others also. Thank you, Ayush. Great. So, so far we were discussing about Azure Compute here, and right now we are discussing about how practically we can install a server on an Azure side here. Right now we discussed before the break how practically you can able to uh, what are the checklists to be followed on in a installation part here, right? We understood like before making any installation, we need to have a clear idea about there is a checklist to be followed here before making an installation. The checklist needs to have all that information that will help you to install your operating system, or that will help you to configure a Azure VM on in a cloud without making a provisioning in a complex kind of a scenario here, right? It's been easy for you to install in an easy way here. Now, right now we have discussed about a different way of approach or different management tools also on in a cloud side, which will give you a flexibility to configure it here. We discuss about PowerShell, we discuss about GA mode, we discuss about CLI, we discuss about a mobile app here. Right now, we are planning to install a server on in a East US location. My customer is saying we need to have a installation to be done on in a East US location, and the customer has been looking a operating system Windows Server 2016. Customer is saying they want to install a server. It will be configured with a Windows Server 2016, and customer is looking to be install this operating system in a East US location. Which data center? They want to install it on in a East US data center here. Now let's go and see how practically you can install, or while installing an operating system, what are the options you are getting on in the other side here. Now, in case if you want to install a operating system here, if you are using a GUI based method here, one option you can go directly on into the virtual machine tab or option, which is being displayed or showing on in a resource panel here on the left side. Whatever panel you are seeing here, that basically it's been knowing as a resource panel here. With the help of that, you can able to select it here. See, virtual machine option you can select. This will give you a option to create here. See, the moment you select the option called create, this will give you a Azure virtual machine installation option. Or second method, you can go directly to the marketplace. You can go to the marketplace here. Now, inside the marketplace, you can type which operating system you are looking here. For example, like I'm looking for Windows Server 2016 here. I can just type it here 2016, Windows Server 2016. This will give you a option to install it here. See, you can see here your option is been available. You see, you have a Windows Server 2016 is been available here. With the help of that, you can able to install it here. See, Windows Server 2016 here. Now, 2016, if you are selecting here, you can type it here. See, Windows Server 2016 here, Windows Server Core or Data Center version. You can select it here. See, all the version will be displayed here. This is another method here. Anyway, I'm going to use the other method here. I'm going directly onto with virtual machines here. Right now, it's saying here, Robin, there is no virtual machine has been available here. See, no virtual machine at present available on in the portal here. So I'm selecting a new virtual machine creation option here. See, so I'm selecting an option called create a virtual machine. See, selecting an option called create a virtual machine here. See, a create a virtual machine. Now, the moment when you select a create virtual machine, you are getting a few tabs here, something like a basic, disk, networking, management, monitoring, advanced, tag, review. Now, you need to fill all these options here. At the time of the creation, you need to select all these options, which will help you to provide a pre-installation details here, which will help you to configure it here. See, now the option right now I'm going to select is about the basic options here. I'm selecting an option called basics. Now, here I'm getting an option under which subscription the billing you need to do it here. Right now you can see I have only one virtual machine has been available here, right? You can able to see like you have only one subscription has been listed here. But when you go back on into your project, or when you go back on into your account, or when you go back on into your office, instead of a one, you may be able to see n number of subscriptions here. It depends upon your role. It depends upon how your permissions has been configured on in your organization. You may be able to see more than one subscription on in the tab here. Right now you have only one here, but in the real-time scenario, you may be able to see more than one option will be getting here. So it's basically you are deciding under which subscription the billing to be done end of the month. For example, like you have a different applications or a different projects are available. You can decide whether this is to be billed under the finance or HR or a project specific or a client specific, that you can able to select it from here. So you have an option to select it here, which will help you to select the right subscriptions here. I'm saying right now the virtual machine currently I'm creating every month, this has to be billed under the training subscription here. Now you may be having a question, how many subscription I can able to create in a one account? So you have a n number of subscription can be selected or you can be added here. There is no limit as on today here. Your account can have more than one subscription also to be configured here. Now how do we add more subscription? If you're working on in a real-time scenario or a project, generally this will be handled by an account team or a global account team or an active directory team. Generally it's been coming under their scope of work. Or in case if you are got or if you received a global admin or respective power or a permission, you also have a right to select for adding an additional subscription here. So there is no limit saying that only 10 subscription per account. No, you can create n number of subscription under one account here. See, you can able to create n number of account here. You can just go and add n number of subscription here. And once you've been added, at the time of the creation, you may be able to see like multiple virtual machine can be selected here under the subscriptions. Yes, right? The moment when you go for the virtual machine, you can able to select it here, and you can able to select it here, right? See, you have an option has been available. This will be listing all the subscription currently. It's been configured here. So you have an option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to configure here. See, the option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to manage it. With the help of that, you can able to manage, or with the help of that, you can able to configure it also here. Right now, I have only one subscription has been available here. Now, I'm selecting that subscription. The resource group we already discussed in the previous meeting or the webcast. The resource group is nothing. Uh, Based on the life cycle, you can able to select where exactly this server to be provisioned or hosted here. In a real-time scenario, this can be application specific, or this can be life cycle based, like basics. Life cycle basis, it's been configured like a HR or a finance or a project specific or a tax specific or a finance specific. Organization may be having a different strategies been configured for a resource group side here. Now I'm just selecting this is for the production here. So I'll be selecting it's like a production here. I'll be selecting it's a production here. Now, while creating a virtual machine name, rather than giving a name something like a Arya computer or a Muhammad computer or Harijan computer here, better to give a meaningful name here. Always try to give a unique name rather than giving a server one or a Ramesh computer or a Suresh computer or Ashley computer here. Better to give a meaningful name here. How normally it's been done on in a real-time scenario. Possibly you can refer this chart here. So this is the one Microsoft has been recommending here. Microsoft has been recommending if anyone has been creating a VM, better to start first a few letter with the kind of the environment it's been hosting here. In case if you have been using a production one, first a few letter you can use for representing a prod or a non-prod or a development or a QA or a testing. So if someone has been seeing your computer name or a server name, from that name they will be able to identify the priority here. What is the kind of the priority they have? What is the kind of the priority to be set, or what is the kind of the action they need to take it while handling that here? So that basically it's been selected based on the name of the priority here. So better to use first a few letter for giving basically the type of the infrastructure here. Possible the first few letter you can able to give where exactly this has been hosted here. It's a development or a prod or a QA or that kind of a name you can able to give it on in the system. So which will help you to give that a meaningful name here. Followed by where exactly this has been hosted here. Where exactly this has been hosted? Is it on to be hosted on in where exactly this has been hosting here? Is it on in East 2AS or a West 2AS? So next few letter you can use it for mentioning the location of your VM here. So it's been giving you a unique name. First few letter for the infrastructure were being hosted, followed by the location, then followed by the instance, then it's been followed by the service or a product it's been hosting here, and then where exactly this has been hosted. This kind of details you can able to give it here. So that's maybe the best way of handling here. So possible the first few letter can be used for handling this kind of uh, name based specific here. You can see here like you have a solution has been available. First few letter you can use it for environment, then followed by the location, followed by the instance, followed by the product or a service, and then followed by the roles. All this you can able to use it here. So this may be the one approach. Normally you can able to take it here. With the help of that you can able to manage here. So is the point it's been clear to everyone? If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? I'm just saying like rather than, because once you created a VM, it will be very tough for you to rename it here, because if you change it on OS side, your Azure portal you won't be able to change. That will make some kind of a conflict here. So better to have a unique name. Possibly you can able to create at the time of the creation itself. So that will avoid any kind of a dependency in a future year. Better to use a meaningful name while creating your VM here. There's a point here. Now, anyway, we are creating a testing server here. So possible I'll use a simple name rather than using a lengthy or a complex buzzwords here. I'll use a simple one for your understanding here. So let me try to create it one here. Let me go back here. I'm just trying to create a ABM name here. In a real-time scenario, you may be giving like a prod. Then you may be giving like I'm going to create in an East to West location. So I'll give like next to few letter like U. It's in I'm going to use it IAS VM1. So similar like any unique pattern, you can use it here. So in a real-time scenario, okay. Now, right now, this is for a testing one. So I'll try to create a VM1 symbol test VM1. Okay. So next one, it's about regions here. It's basically giving you a flexibility to select a 60 regions here. That basically, as we discussed, this will avoid latency kind of concerns here. If my users are from a UK South, I can configure my solution or application or server in the UK region itself. So that will give you a better application performance. That will avoid all the kind of the latency here. Second one, the point you need to remember, whenever you go for configuring any solutions here, same product you are going to get for a different price here. Let me give you a scenario here. I'm planning to create Windows Server 2019 here. I hope you can able to see on the image. you have a 2019 data center, and which location this has been selected. You can see like a East US location this been selected here. I hope you can able to see there is a average price monthly. It's been showing there, right? Are you able to see here? There is a average price. You may be able to see like a 4,000 something. It's been showing on in the portal here. Now let me change the price, or let me change the location to another country here. Now what is the price I'm seeing here? Is there any change here, team? Are you seeing any kind of a change here? You may be able to see like the moment when you connect it onto the portal here, there is a price change you can able to see, right? Yes, Frederick, I'm sharing my screen. Tim, are you able to see the screen here? Tim, are you able to see my screen here? Frederick, I hope you can able to see this size here. The size here, 5,000 rupees is been here, right? Great. Now, if you can see, I'm just changing the another location. For example, like North Europe here. Are you seeing there's a prices again got changed here? We have not made any kind of a configuration change. We have not made any other kind of a changes here, right? I just made only the location change here. So the point here, the same product, it's going to get a different cost in a different regions here. So 1K it's been an average one year, maybe it's in. Now, Abdul Rahman, you think a situation, you are working for a project where you are responsible for designing and implementing 10,000 VMs here. Now this 1,000 rupees, the difference you are seeing for a month. Now you can calculate next 5 years. Calculate for the next 10 years. Now you got the sensitivity of the role, right? It's going to be a huge difference here. So the point here, when you are planning to have any kind of a VM creation, or when you are planning to have any server installation, you need to consider cost. You need to consider the location also. These are two things always we need to consider whenever you go for implementing a VM on a net portal here. So the moment when you plan for creating a VM, we need to think about which location this needs to be created, and in case if I'm getting another question, what happens if I change my location after 1 year? You have that new price will be tagged to you, Rahman. In case if you're changing your location, definitely what is the price need it's been available for that country or a region, that will be charged here. So you have to pay for the last 1 year whatever been used, plus a new payment mode it's been set for your VM, because you may be changing from UK South into a Bangladesh or any another country. You may have to pay for based on the new locations here. I hope it's been clear to you. Great. Now it's all depends upon the price here. So it's all depends upon what is the price. It's been set on in the portal here. Now let's go and implement one VM here. And now we have been selected a subscription here. We have been selected uh, a lifecycle component part here. We have selected a virtual machine part here. We have selected a VM name also here. Now next one, you are going to select a availability option. We'll have a detailed discussion about how availability has been configured on in a cloud here tomorrow's session. Availability normally it's been set in a different way, like something called as availability set, availability zone, availability auto scaling options, no infrastructure. You may be remembering on in an on-premises scenario, Availability normally we have been configured with the help of a clustering kind of a feature, right? Active clustering, active passive clustering, network load balancer. Then you have a DR kind of a concept. It's been configured, right? Similar kind of a DR kind of a concept. We have a concept of availability set, availability zone, and we have an option of auto scaling. All these options are supported on in a cloud, which will provide you availability for your VM here. That will give you a solution here. In case if one VM is been down, automatically you will be able to provide service or a solution from the partner node here. It can be on in another DR, or depends upon how availability has been configured here. This can be configured on a data center specific. This can be configured on in a host specific. Even this can be configured on in a region specific also here. We'll discuss in a detail how this can be configured on in a real-time scenario here. What are the options has been supported here? How practically this can be configured on in a solutions here. In the tomorrow's discussion here, what are the option has been supported here. So this basically it's been like it's providing you a solution for providing a availability for your solutions here. So that's the way it's been configured on in a real-time scenario here. So you have an option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. Now, right now I'm selecting, hey Microsoft, I don't need any kind of availability for my VM here. So you have an option for selecting no infrastructure redundancy also. No infrastructure redundancy means that you are configuring a server without any kind of availability. That means if your server is been down, you are not going to get any kind of availability for your application, or not kind of availability has been provided for whatever solution you have been hosted on in a host specific year. So you are selecting a configuration in such a way that you have been configuring a server without a availability here. So you have been configured here. Now, another one, security one, how you want to enable a security. This will be discussing in a network security discussion here. Now, next option you are going to get it here. It's about the image here. It's asking you what kind of operating system you want to install it here. You may be remembering on in a VMware, or you may be remembering on in a on-premises scenario. We used to get an option for selecting a ISO image here, right? Now here you don't have any option of ISO image here. Instead of that, you can select a image or OS option from the marketplace here. As I said earlier, few people having a perception, it's been supported only Microsoft OS. No, it's been supported other better products also. You can see like a non-OS Microsoft product has been supported here, like a Ubuntu or a SUSE Linux or a Red Hat Linux. And even Microsoft, you can see all the flavors also here, like a 2016, 2019, 2022, and 2025. It's been not launched in Azure side here. Still the testing has been going on. Future you'll be able to see 2025 also here. So based on the customer requirement, you can able to select the right version and right model also here. Another important point you may be able to see it on in a cloud side here. Whatever operating system it's been supported here, all this operating system is been configured on in a 64-bit operating system mode here. See, it's been a more 64-bit operating system. It's not a 32-bit operating system. Whatever operating system it's been supported, you may be able to see the CPU architecture. It's been supported. It's a 64-bit here. So it's been supporting 32-bit application, but the CPU architecture which you're going to see, it's going to be the 64 here. So that is a important point. You can able to see it here. So you have option is been available here, right? So you may be able to see here, right? This is the option you can able to configure on the solution side here. So the moment you may be configured on in a cloud side here, you have option is been available where you can able to go and configure on in the cloud here. See, you have a different options are available, and with the help of that, you can able to configure it here. See, a 2016 operating system. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. See, 2016, and you can able to select it here. Now, size is nothing. It's giving you a flexibility. What is the configuration you want it on in the Microsoft side here? You may be remembering like when you go for purchasing a laptop, we used to inform the shopkeeper or computer executive, I need a SSD hard disk, I need a laptop with a 60 GB RAM or a 18 GB RAM or a 24 GB RAM, right? There's a size normally we used to mention on in a while purchasing a laptop, right? Similar way here also, you are getting a flexibility to select a different series here. Series is nothing, it's a kind of a model. Microsoft is being given as a B1 or a DS1 or F series or M series. It depends upon the purpose and depends upon the configuration also here. So here you can able to select a size of your VM. What is the RAM size you need, or what is the GB you need here. That you can able to select it from here. So you have option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to select the right options here. See, now another important point all of us need to remember here, it depends upon the size or a configuration you are selecting at the time of a provisioning. Your pricing also going to be changed here. Right now on the screen, you may be able to see I have selected two virtual CPU, selected 8 GB RAM, and the price you may be able to see like a 6,000 rupees. Now, if I'm changing this size here, for example, like I'm selecting a different configuration here, see, I have selected instead of a 2, I have selected 4 CPU here. Now you can see the price is been showing 12,000 rupees here. See, so it depends upon the configuration. It depends upon the model or series you are selecting. You are going to pay extra cost here. Now definitely you may be having a question. While creating a VM, I have selected one configuration. Is there any possibility for changing? So answer is yes. For example, like at the time of a creation, Robin is selected for CPU. Tomorrow customer is saying like, I don't need 4 CPU. I need only 1 CPU. Can I change? That's maybe the one question. Second question may be, while creating a VM, I have selected 4 CPU. My server or my application is not performing well. I'm getting a lot of escalation from my client. I want to upgrade into higher version. Is that possible? That may be the second question all of us may be having. Is there any kind of a possibility we have in case if you want to upgrade into a higher version? Is there any kind of solution has been supported here? So answer is yes. At any point of time, if you want to connect or in case if you want to configure here, you have a option for upgrade or you have an option for downgrade also. So vertical scaling, and you have an option for horizontal scaling also. It's been possible here. You can just connect it here. With the help of that, you can able to upgrade, or with the help of that, you can able to downgrade also. Both it's been possible here. So there is a option is been supported on in a cloud, which will help you to downgrade and which will help you to upgrade also here. But the option you may need to remember here, in case if you are planning for any kind of upgrade or a downgrade here, always this need to have a downtime. Always the configuration if you are making on the cloud side here, any configuration change which you are doing on in a cloud side, this needs a downtime here. So without that, you cannot make any kind of a modification here. Any changes which you are planning to do on in a cloud side, this need a downtime here. So that's a one important point you may have to remember at any point of time. If you are made to make any kind of a changes, this need a downtime. Without downtime, you cannot make any kind of configuration changes here. Now, I'm selected one configuration here. Right now, I'm getting an option for providing a admin password here. So this is going to be the first user account which you are going to create on in a OS side here. So whatever user account you are correctly creating, this user account it's not created on in Azure portal. Technically, this user account or a username, it's going to be created inside your operating system. Very specific if you're saying it's going to be created inside your SAM file. If you take an operating system, this password is going to be created inside your C drive, inside your SAM folder. So all your user account, it's been available inside your security account manager here. So whatever user account it's been created here, this user name and a credential, it's been um, used for the configuration side, that's been used for connecting on into a server here. So which will help you to make a kind of a connection here. With the help of that, you can able to manage here. So that is the one point you can able to configure it here. So that's the way you can able to uh, configure on in the cloud side here. So I hope that point has been clear to everyone here, right? So the moment when you going to configure here, with the help of that, you can able to manage. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So that's the way the configuration has been done on in a cloud side here. So with the help of the first user account, you can able to create it here. So at any point of time, if you are planning for creating any username or a password, that's going to be the first user account which you are going to create it here. So this using for connecting or taking a remote desktop here. So let me create a username and a password here. I'm just creating a username and a password. Now I just provided a username or a password here. Now there is another option you are getting here. It's called inbound port rules here. This basically it's been connecting with your network security feature here. It's been dealing with your NSG options here. By default, if you take any Azure VM, all the inbound or incoming traffic, it's been managed or it's been filtered by a component on in a cloud that's called NSG. What is the component name? The component we are using here, it's called network security group here. By default, if you take any VM, NSG is going to be explicitly it's been deny all your inbound connections here. So you're informing Microsoft, I'm managing this server remotely. Since your NSG has been explicitly it's been denying or inbound connection, please allow a RDP route so I can manage my virtual machine remotely with the help of a remote desktop protocol here with a port number 3389. So it's basically adding a route inside your NSG which will allow a connection through a remotely with the help of a port number 3389 here. In case if you are not used here, it's going to be a account issues here, right? So you may be able to see, right? You have resources been available. With the help of that, you can able to manage here. So with the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So technically, it's going to be the root network security root you are configuring on in a NSG level here. So there's one important point you may have to remember here. So the moment when you start it here, you have a many resources are available. So this route it's specifically it's been configured on in a network security level here. Anyway, let's select the default one. This basically it's been talks about licensing here. Now the moment when you create a virtual machine, by default that virtual machine will be installed with a Windows Server license, and it's been installed with the activation mode also. You don't need to go for any other licensing creation here. It's been like by default this will be activated. Now whatever price it's been listed in the previously, it include a cost for the it's been included the cost for the existing activation also here. So Microsoft is saying in case if you want to configure any kind of a solutions here, it's been included the license here. Now in case if you already have a solution available and If you already in a on-premises, if a license has been available, you can able to make use of that also. So it's saying if already have a license has been available, you can make use of the existing license also here. So that's what it's been saying. So in case if you already have a license has been available, you can able to use that license here. If you are using a already owned license, Microsoft is going to give you almost a 67, 49% of the license reduction also. That means the cost reduction you are going to get it on in the pricing part here. So in case already you have a resource has been available, you are going to get a reduction on in the cost side also here. So if already you have a server has been available and the cost it's been used on in a cloud side here, then you can able to use this one here. See, you have option has been available, which will help you to connect it with the help of the on-premises solutions here. So that's about the configuration side here. Now let me review and create here. I'm not going to select any of this option at present here. That will select in the later stage here. Now, if you can just go back here, you can see here, you have a review and create it here. Right now, the validation completed. Right now, you may be able to see there's a green tick mark with a validation message you're getting on the portal here. It's basically giving an indication all the configuration or option you have been selected. It's been selected here. In case if there is any kind of a configuration issue, you would have been received a message here, some configuration detail it's been not good, and there is some modification is needed here. That's been the validation will be failed here. Now, current scenario, whatever option you have been selected, the validation has been completed and it's been completed successfully here. So you can go ahead with the creation here. I just triggered the installation here. You can see here. Let's go and connect it here. Currently, it's deployment. It's in progress here. You may be able to see like deployment. It's been completed here, right? You can able to see like you have a resource has been available here. See, you have a solution has been available, and you may be able to see the deployment. It's been completed here. Now, right now, if you select it here, now you want to see this your virtual machine here. You can go back to the virtual machine tab or option available on the left side here. See, you can click on the virtual machine. This will be selecting all the virtual machine. It's been listed here. Right now, you can see here you have a server has been available. You see, you have a only one VM has been listed here. If you go back on into a solution here, if you have installed more than one VM, that will be listed here. Sometimes I've seen like people are saying like my VM has been not listing here. This may be because the filtering option you may be not set properly on in the filtering session here. You can able to see there is a filtering options are available here. Sometimes I was seeing like people maybe not select right subscription here. So before committing before committing anything to the client here, you may be able to see like you have a you may be able to you can able to select the right subscription here, right? You may be able to see like all the subscription here. See, in case if you're not selected the right subscription, you may be not seeing that VM here. See, right now I've been connected onto the portal. For example, like see, I'm not seeing a VM here. Technically, I have a VM has been installed. At the moment when I have selected a virtual machine, see, my VM has been not seeing on into the portal. Sometimes the people may say my VM has been not available or not seeing on the portal. What is the real issue here? The issue is here the SME or the resource has been not selected the right subscription here. See, they are not select the filtering option or they are not configured the filtering option properly on into the portal. That's the reason the VM option has been available, right? Is that option is being clear? So, so without a configuration, without a right subscription option, you won't be able to select the right virtual machine or you won't be able to see the virtual machine option on in the portal here. Right now, if you select this VM here, it's giving you few details here. It's giving a information about a subscription. It's giving a information about a resource group. You can see which location this has been created here. It's giving you the information about which operating system currently it's been configured, and it's giving you the information about which model or series has been selected here, and it's getting a information about a public IP address details also here. See, you have option has been available. It's been giving all that details here. Now, if you click on this VM here, this will be taking to the properties of the VM. Now, if you select here, you can see there's a overview option has been showing here. If you select the overview option, it's giving you the information on the right side under which resource group this has been configured, what is the current status of your VM, which location or which data center this has been configured, and it's giving you a lot of other troubleshooting or a proactive monitoring details also. See, in case if you want to monitor your server, what the current CPU metrics is been coming, what is the current utilization is coming. You don't need to get or you don't need to even connect inside your operating system. With the help of the Azure portal itself, you are getting a telemetry or you're getting a proactive monitoring information. What is the current usage of your uh, compute resources available in a system here? You can see the how the IO is been performing. What is the utilization of your disk here? You can able to see the trend also here. So based on that, you can able to take right proactive actions here rather than going on in a reactive side here. And you can see a lot of other uh, troubleshooting or a configuration informations also, where you can able to capture your logs. You can able to see a lot of settings or a network options are getting, where you can able to configure your load balancing. You can able to configure option of network manager, disk extension. You have a separate blade has been available for configuring for your security. You have option has been available for configuring your a restore point or a backup. All this option has been available here. So that's the way it's been configured on in the VM properties here. So it's basically all the configurations are available, which available you want to configure or do the all kind of management part here. So that's about the VM properties here. Now, if you go back on into the another tab, you may be able to see on the left side something has been written called all resources here. See, you may be able to see when the moment when you select the option called all resources, it's basically it's been listing or it's been displaying all the components which are being created along with your VM here. See, the moment when you create a VM here, along with your VM, a lot of other components also it's been got created here. You can see the components are like a network security group. You may be able to see the other component here, something like you have a component, something like what is the other component you're seeing here? You can see like a network watcher. You can see the what is the other component you're seeing here, team? Can you comment it on the chat here? What are the other components you're seeing on in the portal here? You may be able to see like a public IP address. You can able to see the components like VNet. You can able to see the components like uh, virtual network, network interface, a disk. So along with your one VM, you may be notice like n number of other dependent component are also it's been created here. Now let me do one thing. Let me create one more VM on in the same location. You can see then how many resources are created here. I'm just trying to create another component here, another server here. It's called VM2 here. So you will get an understanding here what will happen if I'm trying to create another server here. Review and create. I'm just creating one more VM, creating one more VM here. Currently, this deployment it's in progress here. It's been deployment. It's been triggered and it's been progress here. Let's me. We can see the another VM. Also, it's got created here. See now, if you go back to the virtual machine here, you can see the second server also it's got created, and you may be able to see this also has been got created on in a North Europe location. Yes, see you can see this also created on in a North Europe location, and similar like your previous VM, this VM also got the similar kind of informations here, like a public IP address, and you can see like a size. What are the other information you're seeing here? You can see like a public IP address, right? Now, if you go back to the old resources also here, you may be able to see like you have a resources are available here, right? You can able to see like you have a resources are available here. You can see like you have a solution available, right? You can see like uh, how many resources been available here. See, You can see like many other resources also it's been got created. You see, you have a lot of other resources also. It's got created. You see, you can see here many other resources also it's been got created along with your VM. You see, you have a resources been available. See, uh, how many resources currently you have been managing here. So the moment when you create two resource, see how many resources are coming on in your all resource in you. Think a situation you are managing more than 100 VMs. See all these resources going to be populated here, and you will be responsible for managing that here. So this is the way the installation has been happening on in the cloud side here, and uh, you can see like the moment when you start on in the portal here, you can see like you have a resource has been available. With the help of that, you can able to you can able to see like you can able to see like you got you have a resource has been you can see able to see like you have a resource has been available on the portal here, right? Now you have a VM1, you have a VM2 available. With the help of that, you can able to manage here. So I hope the installation part it's been clear to everyone here, right? So any questions from anyone? Any questions? Possible like we are almost on that time. Next 5 minutes we'll use for a Q&A here. Any questions from anyone? Because the next topic we are planning to discuss about the connectivity side. That's need some time, like in an hour of discussion. Great. If you're good and if you're uh, feeling this webinar or a webcast has been useful to you, can you comment it on the chat? I hope we hope it's been like you have learned a installation part, or you've been learned some ways about Azure technology, and you're feeling like you've been confident on that part. Request everyone to comment it on the chat. Thank you, team. We can see if you people have been uh, seeing like this has been very useful webinar, because it's been useful. Then we can able to launch similar kind of such programs in the future also. So we want to ensure that this kind of program will help people to enable on in the Microsoft side, especially on the Azure side here. Thank you. Thank you. And tomorrow we'll be discussing about more on into the networking part. We'll be discussing more on into the Azure side here. Thank you, team. Over to you, Surag here. So next topic, it's about networking. So another 5 minutes, 7 minutes won't be sufficient to cover that. Surag, over to you.
Thank you, Robin, for the session. I hope you guys have enjoyed the session. Not sleep through all of it. I hope you guys had good learning as well. And we'll have the same time tomorrow. And I'm just gonna drop our community links in case you did not join the community yet. I'm just gonna drop all our YouTube channel link and our Discord, WhatsApp, and Facebook, whichever you feel comfortable. Feel free to join there. And yeah, thank you again for joining today, and we'll see you in the next session. And also, I just want to remind one more time, the link does not change to the meeting, plus the time does not change tomorrow. So make sure you come back here. And I also shared the add to calendar link to your email as well. So you add it to your calendar so you get the reminder. Okay. Thank you again, everyone, and thanks to Robin for taking the time. And also, you'll have him tomorrow as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye.